And welcome back, everybody, to Micro Reflections for the 21st Sensory. And that's sensory with an SENSORY. Sensory overload, it seems like we are all experiencing in this crazy crisis-aware world, with the onslaught of digital media just coming at us at all angles every millisecond of the day. And hopefully these readings help you all find some relief from that. A shift in your perspective on belief systems, worldviews, and just another way to look at life and experience life. Take what you need, leave the rest. And I'm Brian, the founder of Medicine Box, and I really enjoy making these videos and these audios for y'all for a little book that I wrote during COVID, the weird new world of COVID. Let's see, it's May 2023, so geez, it went by pretty quick, 3 years ago. And they're all handwritten passages, and I ended up just putting them into this nifty little book that you can use in tandem as a asset to your microdosing experience or without a microdosing experience. And the way it is broken down is that it's 12 weeks. There's 36 passages total, so 3 per week. And if you're microdosing on, say, the Fadiman protocol, which is a day on, 2 days off, chances are you're microdosing about 3 days a week. So 3 days a week, 3 passages a week. You can use these to enlighten your experience, amplify that, and use it to kind of enhance a direct portal to your soul, and share it with others. That's all I ask. Maybe share your perspectives with others. And if you are so inspired to do so, share it with us. Just drop us a line at support@medicineboxwellness.com, and be sure to join our community of microdosers. All you have to do is click on the link below on this landing page where you're watching this video. If you'd like to schedule a call and learn more about the microdosing starter kit or our 90-day journey back to you, which is our microdosing program where we spend a lot of time developing your personalized protocol, as well as support throughout the journey with weekly integration meetings that I host. And these are some of the topics that we speak about amongst a range of others. And there's some really fantastic people in there. And for anyone that might be in those groups that's listening to this, you all inspire me. So without further ado, let's continue on. This is actually, I know I say this a lot in these, but this is one of my favorite ones here. A great reminder, hence the exclamation point after plans here. The universe has other plans. You've heard me talk about being conditional in a very unconditional universe. And what happens? Doesn't usually work out for us. So we need to learn how to be unconditional in the unconditional universe and flow with its teachings, its presentations, and whatever it is bringing us in that very moment without any resistance or force. Forwards, backwards, sideways in time, the universe has other plans. Sideways, backwards, forward in time, we still want to be reassured of where we are going. The trajectory, quote, should be clearly mapped out, right? That's what the mind does. ABC, 1, 2, 3, Michael Jackson. Boom, crash, bang, flip, flop, disaster strikes. Chaos is here. Sound familiar, everybody? The clear picture becomes murky like a mud puddle in the spring. And what do you know? It is spring right now, and there are a lot of mud puddles. We must work hard to be okay with not knowing, to be adaptable, more flexible, and resilient. Much of the time, the truest, most accurate message is, let's wait and see. Perhaps with a side of, I don't know. That's like one of my favorite emojis. I don't know. I ain't got nothing for you, right? I'm not going to pretend I know, because I really don't know much, and I know what I don't know. The world is constantly changing, hence the title here, The Universe Has Other Plans. Change is the only constant, even when you're sitting still. And let's sit still for just 1 second. How about a deep breath in and an exhale? Change is happening, even when we're just doing that. And the universe is always moving. Suit up, show up, do the work, stay present, the rest will take care of itself. In one of my favorite quotes by Terence McKenna himself, the great mushroom guru, I suppose you could call him, even though he probably wouldn't like to be called a guru. But let's say he was a direct line of consciousness, and the psychedelic mushroom was really his ally, and he was able to just flow with the stream of consciousness and create a lot of great meaning for a lot of people. And his work, he left this earthly plane way too early, but his work still prevails, and it has helped a lot of people continue on understanding consciousness. Do you see what I did there? How do you understand consciousness? I don't know. So Terence would always say, sit down, shut up, and pay attention. I like to add in there, sit down, shut the up, and pay attention. Just throw a cuss word out once in a while. Not going to hurt anybody. So the universe has other plans, okay? So forwards, backwards, sideways in time. Time is not linear, okay? Sideways, backwards, forward in time, right? Time is not linear when we are transcending space-time, when we are utilizing psychedelics, right? Or even just microdosing, right? We dampen this linear time that we are so attached to. We need to be in the Zoom room at this hour, and we have a hard stop in 30 minutes. Okay, I need to go pick up the kids at this time, at this location, right? So we are so attached to this linear time, but the universe always has other plans. So we're always wanting to be reassured of where we are going, right? Because the mind likes to know. The mind is on super overdrive in this crazy world. Our bodies have a hard time keeping up with our mind because it is on overdrive. But we always want to know where we're going, right? The trajectory should just always be mapped out. ABC 1, 2, 3. If I get this amount of money, I buy my house. If I buy my house, then I have a relationship. Then I can get the car, and then people will love me. And I am just so reassured with the trajectory I'm going. Or how about this one? Go to school, graduate high school, go to college, get a degree, maybe go get a master's degree, get a job at a good corporation, get a great career, work 9 to 5 for the rest of your life, retire, have some money, then go enjoy life. ABC 1, 2, 3. How is that working out for you? Boom, crash, bang, flip, flop, disaster strikes. Hence the disaster that at the time of this writing was COVID. I always say COVID was the best thing to happen to us because, bam, chaos, right? Drop the chaos bomb, as I always say. Drop a chaos bomb, shake things up a little bit. Think of it as a snow globe. A snow globe is really not that cool. It's not that cool of an item, especially when it's just sitting there and it's idle and it's collecting dust. But what happens when we shake it? We shake the snow globe and all the little cool particles in there are drifting around, and maybe that like one cup of water in that little globe. And what's it do? It captures our attention, okay? And it becomes a whole new item, concept, situation where it's like, wow, that is transforming. And the clear picture becomes murky like a mud puddle in the spring. Okay, so there is no linear trajectory that is ever going to make us happy no matter how much we plan, because we are always going to be attached to an outcome of our desires. Okay, the trick here, everybody, is, and it's easier said than done, is to live, again, let me rewind for a second, is we're addicted to linear time. Okay, our culture is addicted to linear time. I don't care what you say, we are addicted to it. And how do we stay free from the addiction of linear time is that we are able to accept it first, right? It's a fact of life. We need to be places, right? We need to be responsible. Okay, we need to show up to meetings and show up to work and show up to appointments and show up to our kids' extracurricular activities and dates and all of that. However, if we practice living a life that has positive intentions and a value system that is meaningful to us, what does that do? It keeps us in the present moment where we are neither driven by the ghosts of our past, nor are we tripped up by the future fantasies and fears that we are driven to, okay, in our future. So we must be okay with not knowing. We can accept, but we must also be okay with not knowing. And I think that was a very, very hard lesson for many during COVID, is that people went through the boom, crash, bang, flip, flop in that disaster, and they were not okay with not knowing. Okay, one of the three biggest factors that creates anxiety. One is not having enough information. Number two is not having, emotional, spiritual, mental support, right? Healthy support, whether that is with a partner or a community, okay? A like-minded community. And the third is not having enough information and not knowing, okay? People don't like to not know. We have to be okay with not knowing. And when we're okay with not knowing, what does that do? It brings us into the present moment. And we are more adaptable, more flexible, and resilient. Being resilient is huge. Okay, so I have a lot of respect for the younger generation, those kids that, didn't get to go to school, didn't get to play with their friends, had to figure out how to learn on Zoom. And I also have a lot of respect for the parents that stayed at home. I'm not a parent. I have a lot of friends that are. They were either going crazy, or they were enjoying it and adapting to it and being flexible with it. And now I have a lot of friends that are parents that are like, why even put my kids back in school? This homeschooling thing is pretty freaking neat. Chaos, the snow globe. What did it do? It shaked things up, and we were able to look at things with a fresh perspective and maybe have a little bit of creativity there. Okay, so much of the time, the truest, most accurate message is, okay, when we are not comfortable knowing, okay, when we're being resistant, we are being conditional because the universe has other plans, everybody. Let's just wait and see. Let's just see how this pans out. My mentor, our co-founder here at Medicine Box, Michael Hollister. July, on the strawberry full moon, will be 5 years since he passed. I miss him very much. A lot of his teachings, this is part of it. He was a huge fan of Terence McKenna. He was a huge fan of not knowing. He was a huge fan of just sitting still and being resilient and not really having much. He was a minimalist to a fault. Okay, but he would always say, let's wait and see. And I don't know. Okay, so that's where that comes from. Is like, let's wait and see, and then it's like dishing out a side of, I don't know, right? So the other point in there that Michael would always mention would be, that's the best we're going to do today, Brian. Wait, what? I need to figure it out. It needs to be mapped out. ABC 1, 2, 3. There's nothing wrong with having a plan, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Plans are great, right? It's a roadmap. It's a guidebook, right? It's the GPS system that we can follow. But when it doesn't go the way we plan, right? What's Mike Tyson say? Everyone has a plan until they're punched in the face. Love that one. That's the best we're going to do today. And sometimes it's better to just let it rest. And the world is constantly changing. We have to really, really, no matter logically, right? We know that. But spiritually, okay, and philosophically, how do we know the world is always changing? I don't know, right? I know I go to sleep at night and I wake up and the next day the sun's out, okay, and there's some clouds in the sky. That's a good identifier that, okay, the world is changing. It looks a little different. I'm looking out right now. It looks a little different than it did yesterday. Okay? But we have to remind ourselves this, my friends, that the world is constantly changing. And change is the only constant. It is inevitable. So let's just accept it and let's allow it. Okay? Stand there. Face west, the directional west, if you know where you are, and say, thank you, West, for accepting people, places, and things for exactly as they are in this present moment. And thank you for allowing me to accept whatever is coming and whatever is going, even when you're sitting still. So suit up, show up, do the work, stay present. The rest will take care of itself. Let's say this one again. And always remember this from Terence. Sit down, shut up, and just pay attention.